We're all so busy living our lives. And then suddenly something cuts through that, something often very unexpected.
Paediatric trauma call, 15 minutes.
A 71-year-old female with 2 stab wounds to the back.
He was found to be in traumatic cardiac arrest.
I can't feel any pulses. We're at St George's Hospital in Tooting.
Yeah, 24 hours, 7 days a week. I love that question. What's your opening hours?
St George's, London. One of Britain's busiest A&E departments, under more pressure than ever.
So do you want to watch, darling, or do you want to look away?
This is the worst day ever. You never know what's coming in, and you just have to be ready for anything.
Gas canisters exploded, 15% burns to hands, face.
In a world of uncertainty, we see a life-changing event.
I'm ANAP, I need her to get out of here, please.
When patients come in, something takes over.
I'll be fine. I'm going to be very fine.
A place where life,
Give me an A, give me an E.
love,
Okay, good lad, well done.
and loss unfold every single day.
Did you enjoy the Queen's birthday yesterday?
I watched the football.
All the patients you're about to see were treated in just one 24-hour period.
Don't worry.
We get to see people who love one another in loads of different ways. Yes. And I think you can give someone the best care in the world, but really what they want is to hold the hand of the person that they love and for them to tell them that they're going to be okay.
You're my hero.
Yeah, so he was seen and then discharged to see his GP. But obviously, if he's worse, then do bring him back.
I can't eat Chris out of my hand.
Like having a pet monkey, isn't it?
Oh my God, so last night, Tara and Mum set me up on Bumble.
That's hilarious.
They both did. At first, she set me up on Match.com. You have to pay $6.99 a month. I was like, I'm not that desperate.
Do it.
Rose, you know, have we got a board pen? Ah, we got it.
Working in resus today is consultant Paul.
So what's your plan? One of the reasons I love working in the emergency department is the team atmosphere. What's happening? You going on holiday?
Been on holiday.
You've been on, and you're going again?
Got a trip to Portugal.
How come you get all the holidays? It's important to have fun at work sometimes when you can. Right, I've got to go and do some work. Come on, stop ringing me. Well, I'm saving lives here. Bye. We do 12 years of being a junior doctor, and then you have a big interview with lots of different people, about 10 to 12 people, I think, with me. They selected me to be a consultant here, which was great, because that's really where I wanted to work. Neil! 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 So my wife's an intensive care consultant, so we kind of relate quite a lot and having similar pressures. We can have a quick 5-minute discussion about a really sick patient that we had that day, and then we'll move on to talking about getting the kids to school the next morning. Where are we going again? 6. Having these sort of moments of fun and laughter is a way of us dealing with the stresses and the real pressures that we are under every day. It means that we work better as a team when we're really put to the test, because you know you can really rely on these people. You're there to do a job, a very important job.
Just try and confirm your location again for me.
On the road to Pluckley.
What, is it just the one motorcyclist involved?
One motorcyclist has been thrown from his bike. He's got blood coming out of his mouth and he's struggling to breathe.
Hello, Center Zaini. Okay. So, intubated. Right side chest injuries. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye. Yeah.
Hi there, could I activate the helipad response team?
A 52-year-old man is being airlifted to St George's after a road traffic collision on a country road in Kent. He was found in a ditch without a pulse. Emergency doctors treated him at the roadside.
The scene from overhead was a bit like watching a movie scene unfold. Car in the middle of the road with terrible damage to the front driver's side. The impact had been immense. He'd been in cardiac arrest. It was one of the more extreme jobs we've had. The outcome in that sort of scenario is almost always very poor.
The motorcyclist's wife was at home when she heard about the accident.
It was a Saturday. He was either going to cut the grass and do a few jobs around the house in the morning or go out on his motorbike. I came back from my parents about 12 o'clock. And there was a police car on the drive. They wanted to check who I was. And then they broke the news that Mark had been in a serious accident. Absolutely terrifying. You're in this sort of bubble or a nightmare, and you just feel that your life's just been thrown completely upside down.
Traumas where the heart has actually stopped are very, very rare. We don't see them very often at all. And when you do see one, you know that this is the absolute worst trauma that you can get. It had no blood flow to his brain and no oxygen to his brain for potentially a long period of time. HEMS said this patient's too unstable to go to the CT scanner. It was a really worrying sign.
Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. That's excellent. Thank you very much. This is Mark. He's in his mid to late 50s. He's a motorcyclist. About 90 minutes ago, it appears that he knocked from his bike and into a ditch. He was found to be in traumatic cardiac arrest at scene. His injuries were a closed head injury. He likely had impact brain apnea. He had asymmetrical chest movement, signs of respiratory distress that may be from a sternal fracture.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we're going to elevate it to a code red, guys. And we need 2 units of blood, please. A code red are the sickest patients with very low blood pressures or those that haven't responded to initial treatment. So it generally means they're bleeding a lot, potentially bleeding to death. Got a radial pulse? It really is life and death. Let's have a look at his pupils.
They're equal reactive, 3 millimetres.
The police officers basically said, we'll take you up to the hospital, you're in no fit state to drive. So I came down and got my eldest son, who was at home. They didn't have much information about Mark. We just felt they were getting us up there as quickly as possible, really, just to say goodbye to Mark.
So that's the first unit of blood going up now. So let's just put that straight in. I want to aim for a systolic of 100 because of the head injury.
52-year-old motorcyclist Mark has been airlifted to A&E after a serious collision involving a car which threw him from his bike into a ditch.
And what we do is, that is in his artery, we think, so let's just transduce that.
Yeah, perfect.
Doctors are giving him an emergency blood transfusion.
What really concerned me in his case was the fact that his heart had stopped, and that lack of supply of oxygen to the brain was a real worry for me.
So we'll go to scan. Okay, let's go.
Doctors have ordered emergency CT scans.
Blood's going in, slowly. Yeah.
His wife is travelling to St George's from their home in Kent.
I got to know Mark over about a period of a couple of years. Mark and I first started dating. Mark had a red MG Midget, so a really nice car that we used to go down to Rye in.
Breathe in and hold your breath.
He would often be coming around to visit me at my parents', and they would come and sit and have a cup of tea in the garden. And my nan would be going, oh, you know, he's your boyfriend. And I'd be going, no, he's not, it's not. It's just coming around for a cup of tea. One night we went out just ourselves. Again, it was just sort of as friends, but I thought, no, this is the man I'm going to marry.
Hips out of joint, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the key to.
He proposed when we were skiing at the top of the mountain. And I said, I'll give you my answer at the bottom, so I skied off and left him floundering after me. But there was never any doubt about what the answer was going to be. I can remember it was absolutely pouring with rain, and then that lifted about 10 o'clock in the morning. It was the most glorious day. Very exciting. We got married at Yalding Church, where Mark used to ring the bells there, so it was really nice. He went along early and actually rung the bells for our wedding. I think he really enjoyed doing that.
We thought on X-ray there was probably an acetabular fracture on the leg.
I always worried about Mark going on the motorbike, and I was always had that sense of relief when he came home. Just kind of, it hits you like a bolt. You just don't think it's going to happen to you.
No, we're not.
Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime.
No, we're not.
We're getting married in the morning, so get us to the church on time.
Well, I can show you what else I put on the list. That's a good thing done by us.
Oh, excellent. That's what I've dreamt of. Chest pains, looking through a John Lewis gift list.
You should be more interested than you are.
I actually cannot hear anything out of this ear. No, I haven't.
Maybe.
Yeah, but why is it blocked?
Working on A&E reception today is 23-year-old Melissa.
Oh, it's annoying.
Get switched into your ear,
Yeah.
and just in one motion depress the plunger.
Oh no, makes me feel sick. Got to have very clear ears to work on, so you have to hear everything. And sometimes a lot of us think when the tannoy goes off for a trauma call, you think, I didn't hear that. Hello, A&E, can I help? We are like the first faces people see when they do come through the door. OK, what's the date of birth, please? If you don't have any people skills, then reception isn't the job for you, that's for sure.
Can you discharge him for us then, and then I can book him back in down here? That'd be brilliant.
My mum's been working at St George's for about 32 years.
This young lad's in a home, and I remember him coming in last week.
She used to tell me some things. I think, I'd quite like to do that. I'd quite like to work there.
And then we go on lunch.
There's me, my mum, my sister, my auntie, my cousin.
Melissa, look, there isn't an MRN number there.
I was actually born here, so and my sister and my brothers were as well. So, yeah, it's kind of it's just in the blood.
Have you been to this hospital before? Oh, that's why.
Oh, is that why?
It's different.
My brother's also a paramedic, so when he comes in, it can be quite funny, just like a family business kind of thing. You're all sort of carrying on from each other.
I can't even function right now. Can't even function properly. Oh yes, Craig's in. I'm going to get him to look in my ear. I need to get Craig to look in my ear.
Why?
It's completely and utterly blocked. I can't hear anything.
St George's.
Yeah. 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 Lovely. And that's CCAM, is it? Coming by land. Great. Thanks very much. Bye. Trick female trauma call in 15 minutes.
A 25-year-old woman is being rushed to St George's after being thrown backwards from her horse.
Fallen from horse. Bit tachycardic, but very anxious.
Or they can get some really severe injuries from falling from the horse. And often they're going, they're travelling at a fair speed, so you're coming off at high speed. Head injuries would be a big possibility. You'd particularly want to know if the patient was wearing a helmet and what their level of consciousness is at that time. And then they can sustain chest, abdominal or pelvic injuries.
The rider's mother arrived at the scene of the accident and is travelling to St George's.
I got a phone call from a girl who keeps her horse at the stables, and she said that she'd had a fall and an ambulance had been called. I knew at that point that she wasn't okay. And I went straight to the stables and she was just lying in the riding school. She was really distressed. It became apparent that there was something radically wrong with her legs or pelvis area, as one leg was about 6 inches shorter than the other and she was in extreme pain.
Ready, steady, slide.
So this is Kaylee. She's 25 years old. At 11 o'clock this morning, she was thrown from her horse to her right-hand side onto the grass verge. Her right leg on examination was shortened and rotated. We've given 10 milligrams of morphine between 12 and 1 o'clock right now. Pain score of 8. No medical history and no meds.
OK, let's do scope blocks and tape then.
Let's take the top end first.
Can you really think about your neck for me? I know it's hard with your leg, but is there any pain in your neck at all?
Doesn't feel like it.
OK, so just let me press.
Particularly concerned is the neck, because that's the highest level of spinal cord, and if that's damaged, they might not be able to move their arms or legs, or potentially even breathe.
Slowly turn your head that way for me, all the way. Keep going, keep going, keep going. How does that feel?
It's a little bit sore.
Where?
Like up there. No, it's not working.
Right, so we're going to get a scan. We'll give you some more painkillers, OK?
Kaylee will be sent for CT scans to her neck, spine and pelvis.
She's a real busy person. She runs her own business. She's just never still. The very thought of her having an injury that would require her then to completely change the way she lives her life, that's a scary thought.
Ready, steady, roll. Down. Ow. Are you in pain? Don't move your neck. I know it's difficult. It's okay.
It was found by the paramedics to be in cardiac arrest, hypotensive, so code red declared.
Earlier, motorcyclist Mark was involved in a road traffic collision. He suffered a cardiac arrest and multiple serious injuries.
It's just that all his trauma is on the left-hand side.
Doctors have put him in an induced coma and given him an emergency blood transfusion. Now they're inserting a chest drain to inflate his lungs and enable him to breathe.
day that Thomas and Felix were born were just absolutely fantastic. He's always been really proud of his boys. I mean, he just loves them. Mark was always very hands-on dad, taking them to activities on a Saturday. They do a lot of sport and he just loved watching them doing the sport, and I think he was always there behind them. He didn't want to crush, overpower them or anything like that, but just always there supporting them. The whole thing you say goodbye to is the life that you led up to that point, but then suddenly that goes completely thrown up in the air and everything you've known, it's just, you don't know what the future's going to hold for you.
As soon as you become a doctor, you really see severe illness every day. That can be pretty hard to take because it really changes your perspective on life. And my children are my love and my life, so when you see somebody who is a father and has come in as a patient, you can really relate to that family.
Pressure is low. We had a good pulse on that side, but he's got no pulses bilaterally.
It's not good.
Mark's blood pressure has suddenly dropped.
We move the concentration to the other side.
If you've got a really, really low blood pressure, it suggests that your heart's not working properly, and that would mean that you're not getting good blood flow, particularly to the brain. And if they don't get good blood flow, then their tissues begin to die, and ultimately your patient will die.
We haven't had an X-ray yet, have we? Post-chest drains?
No.
Let's get that done. Oh, yeah, can we get an urgent chest X-ray in resus 4, please? Thanks very much. Cheers, bye.
Well done, well done. Sweetie, you okay? Because you're in pain. Yeah?
Kaylee has been admitted to St George's after she was thrown from a horse.
So, when we scan your body, we have to give you an injection.
Doctors are concerned she has one leg shorter than the other, as well as possible spinal injuries.
I always wanted 4 children. I knew that Kaylee was the last one. She was probably the only one of mine that was completely planned, really. I walk in the middle of the night. My husband was at work, so I drove myself to the hospital. And as she was born, I watched the sunrise. So her middle name is Dawn.
Breathe in and hold your breath.
She was beautiful. Big, chubby cheeks. Beautiful little baby.
Breathe normally.
I had her at 20:08 in the morning, and I was home at 1:15 in the afternoon.
How far have you got? Do you know? Done head and neck?
I think lashes.
Yeah.
To a house with 3 kids in it. And a mother-in-law, God love her, who hadn't made it down yet because it hadn't been long enough for her to get down on a train. So by the time she arrived, I had a roast dinner made. And yeah.
Doctors will now wait for radiologists and neurologists to study the CT scans and determine whether her injuries are potentially life-changing.
I love you, you know.
Love you too.
Oh. Once more feeling.
It's not really how I was planning on spending my Sunday.
We all have plans, we all have to change them. You know, I thought I was going to be spending my life playing on my Xbox, being happy, and then I met you.
A&E receptionist Melissa is having difficulty hearing.
What's happened?
She's booked herself in to see emergency nurse practitioner Craig.
I can't hear.
At
I
all?
cannot hear, no.
When did this start?
2 days ago.
And I thought, because I've had a cold recently, so I thought, oh, maybe it's because of that. But the cold's gone and it's just blocked.
Have you got pain though?
I get a shooting pain every now and then, but it's not like constant pain. Like, I can touch it, it doesn't hurt or anything.
And you can't hear very well?
No.
Okay, let's have a... Say ah. And your throat's not sore?
I love my job. You get quite a lot of good-looking paramedics and doctors. A lot of the time it's quite nice because you have a bit of eye candy at work as well. You get quite flustered sometimes if they're good-looking. You're trying to book them in or you try and do everything you can to help the doctor out.
I'm going to look in this ear first,
Okay.
and then we'll have a look in your other ear.
My mum met my dad through this job here. My dad used to be a paramedic. Yeah, and they met by him just coming in all the time, booking in, and they just grew to like each other and love each other, and then they, yeah, got married.
You've got an ear infection.
Have I?
Oh, yes. You certainly have.
That explains it then. What should I do?
We can give you some ear drops and get you followed up with ENT in a week.
Okay. Because my mum used to work shifts, you kind of just, Dad was sort of Monday to Friday, so weekends I was always with him. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Craig. We used to live in Streatham, so we used to just walk up to the high road and go for a wimpy. But yeah, so I think definitely a daddy's girl. I've got to go to ENT SOS clinic.
Why? What now?
Yeah. Well, no, I need you to book me in.
Kaylee is in resus after being thrown from her horse. She's been immobilised to prevent any further risk of injury to her back and pelvis.
OK, so within the scan, we're still waiting for the images and they have to look at them and then they've got to give us the report.
Will the scan show if there's any breaks then?
Yes.
How big's the horse?
16 hands.
What does that mean?
That's 16 hands.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you measure
Sounds
it.
quite big, that. Yeah, I know, but it just doesn't mean anything to me.
It wasn't a little pony.
The painkillers starting to work though, finally.
Are they? Well,
Yeah.
just as well. Remember that was us, all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you, guys.
No, it's our pleasure. Hopefully
Go.
we'll hang around. We've got to, well, we're cleaning at the moment. I think we've got half the manure in the back of our truck.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's disgusting.
They're just clearing it up for the next person. Best of luck, Kate. All right.
Thank you.
Speedy recovery.
I grew up in a household in the northeast. There was 4 of us in a small household in a small town in a very tight community. If you did something wrong, the neighbour down the road would cuff your ear and you'd get a telling off, and then when you got home you'd get another one because you'd upset the neighbour. It was full of soul and full of hard-working people.
I will do, don't worry, I'll ring everybody later on and just let people know how things are, but yeah.
There was a big change when industry started closing down in the local area. The shipyards went, the coal mines went. People couldn't manage because there wasn't an alternative. There was a lot of misery. There was a lot of long queues of men looking for work. There was a lot of long queues of women trying to buy provisions at the end of the day from the shop that might be sold at a reduced price. It was an impossible situation.
Don't know what that is. It's measuring your pulse.
We were quite young then and just together, Roy and myself. And he lost his job in the shipyard. Doors just closed and left this wake of poverty, almost desperation. But we had a young family then, you know, and it wasn't even just about us and how we were going to manage. It was about what was going to be there for our children. We scraped just to be able to put shoes on their feet and dinner on the table.
Don't kill me, but we're going to need to do another blood test.
More blood? Yeah, that's fine.
Fine, that's good. That's easy.
The only thing that we could do is to follow the work, really, because we're from a working class roots, and that spirit of will not be beaten.
Last time I had to get a blood test done, they spent ages trying to find a vein.
Well, you wouldn't make a very good addict because your veins aren't very good.
We decided to up and move. We sort of jumped off a cliff together, really, and just thought, let's give it our best. But we did it because it was for our kids. I wanted my children to be able to choose what they wanted to do with their lives. It was about having a future.
So what are these other ones then? Can you not take it from them because they're already in veins?
No, they're for going in.
Horse riding for Kaylee, it's been a massive part of her life. From the age of 9, she's worked at local stables, she's worked in a riding school, she's wanted to work with animals of all description, from small to tall. I've always been aware of the risks of the sport, but riding is so massively important to her. If that was taken away from her, she wouldn't be the same person.
Was he the motorcyclist?
He was on arrest when paramedics arrived.
Doctors have received the results of Mark's scans, which have revealed multiple broken bones, bruising to his lungs, an injury to his left eye, and a bleed on his brain. His wife and family have arrived at St George's after travelling from their home in Kent.
You're fearing the worst because there's nothing to tell you otherwise, and the fact that people at that time, I think they were very busy with Mark, so they couldn't come out to us straight away. You know it's serious.
Right. So who's there? Wife and son. Yeah.
It's never easy, particularly when you have to break bad news or explain something very, very difficult. It's potentially the most emotional time because you've spent your time very dedicated to the patient and their medical condition, focusing on that, doing the best. And then you see the human aspect of it. You speak to the relatives and you explain that the patient may have suffered some really serious injuries and you don't know how they're going to get on or even if they're going to survive or not.
So you know he was involved in a motorbike accident. At first, paramedics turned up. They thought his heart wasn't beating. He's had a scan from his head down to his toes. There's a small bleed in the left side of his brain. And he's got a pelvic injury, so his hip's dislocated on that side. So what concerns me most is his brain injury. The bleed, although it doesn't look that big, it often shows that his head's taken a good high-speed knock. And the other thing that concerns me is that if he didn't have a pulse for some period of time, he may not have had good blood flow to his brain. So there's quite significant injuries that I'm concerned about.
Is he conscious or not?
No, so because he's got the tube down, we give him some medicine to keep him asleep.
Okay.
Have you got any questions at all?
So he's just in a coma
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
With not knowing what the impact is on him.
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
Those moments can be really difficult. Quite a few years ago now that my dad died very suddenly, completely out of the blue, and had a cardiac arrest. And so I've kind of been in that position of going to the hospital and having the doctor come in and break bad news to my family. So I kind of have an understanding of what the family might be going through when you break bad news to them. That just changes your life forever, really.
Do you know what?
What?
At first, when this happened, I was afraid.
Were you petrified?
I was petrified. And I thought, how am I going to live Like, how are you going to live without me by your side?
Well,
You'd have spent so many nights.
at no point did I think you were going to die.
You'd have spent so many nights thinking how you've done me wrong. But you'd be strong. I know you'd know how to get along.
Yeah, I would.
And then...
I'm quite independent.
And then I'd be resurrected and you'd go, oh, so you're back. I'd go, yeah, from outer space.
This is why it was the first thing I said to the ambulance man.
Whoa. Oh, is that a bruise on it?
No, it's dirt.
Doctors have been carrying out tests to establish whether Kaylee has any significant injuries after a fall from her horse.
What do you do for work?
Dog grooming.
And you have horses as well?
Yeah, I've got a horse.
What's his name?
Olaf.
Ola?
Olaf, as in frozen.
She got work at a local stables, very badly paid. She's loaned a horse, she's shared a horse, and finally she's been able to buy her own horse. It was something that she's had to save up for, buy. We looked at a lot of horses, and then she saw this one, and she got on him, and they just fitted each other perfectly. He stole her heart that day, and he's kept it ever since, really.
The full results of Kaylee's CT scans have just arrived.
This young girl, 25 years old, got a dislocation of a hip. Yeah, I know.
Hi there, right, so, afraid you've dislocated your hip, which is why it's so painful.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it is an emergency, so we do need to get you upstairs into theatres as quickly as possible. And what we don't like is for the hip to be dislocated for too long, because the blood supply to the head, the femur, can be compromised. So, any questions?
Look after my girl.
Right, I'll see you on the other side.
Go.
Your child's the most precious thing that you have in your life. All you can say is, I'm here, I'm with you, I've got you, and really actually what you want to do is fix it all, and you can't.
Kaylee will now be rushed to theatre for emergency surgery to her dislocated hip, so doctors can try to give her the best chance of walking normally again.
Can you put on theatre, man? Yeah. Please, thank you. Can we have that lift, please? Let's say that lift.
Is it a staff nurse or a patient? OK, bear with me a second.
What's the date of birth, please?
We get called to resus for a number of things, so it could be that if there's a trauma call coming, we have to pre-book them in as an unknown patient. Going to resus for the first time was scary. My dad got brought in once. I was actually at work with my mum, and he collapsed at home. And the paramedics that went to him, we knew. Obviously, being in the job, you do get to know everyone, which was quite nice in a way, because you know that they'd look after him. And yeah, he got brought in into resus. It was awful. It was horrible. We found out that he was actually in cardiac arrest. He was on that horrible machine that does the CPR instead of having to constantly do it. Which was really hard to see, because I mean, you see it on patients and stuff, but when it's actually your own dad, it was really hard. And yeah, he got taken in, and they let my mum in to sort of be with him, and they looked after him and done everything, absolutely everything. And then he got transferred up to ICU, where he was there for 3 days, and unfortunately passed away. Tough being at work and then kind of you're booking in a patient that you've never met before to booking in your dad. It was really, really tough. It took me a while, but just one day I thought, I can do this. I'm going to be there for the next family that come in, and I'll be there for a shoulder to cry on, because I know how they're feeling. And I kind of looked at it in that kind of way, and I thought, I can do this, I can make my dad proud. I'm going to go to work and help the other people. And I did, and I'm still there now, so. Do you want to leave it with us? Because we're all trying to log in at the minute. We're all having a bit of an issue.
Motorcyclist Mark is being kept in an induced coma after a road traffic collision which resulted in him suffering a cardiac arrest.
Just want to check the calcium, see if it needs a bit more, or we're good. Oh, here we go. This is it.
Scans have revealed a bleed on his brain and other serious injuries.
Even if you've done the best that you can for that patient, you still don't know how they're going to get on long term. It's as much as the family don't know what's going to happen, I don't know either. We've done the best on that day, but how are things going to be in a week's time, in a month's time, in a year's time? You don't really know how well these patients are going to recover if they survive.
Mark will be taken for emergency surgery and then to intensive care. Only when doctors decide to wake him from the coma will they realise the full extent of his brain injury.
Yeah. Hello, Amy, can I help? Oh my God, right? So you know Mum and Tara have signed me up to Bumble.
Going on a date? Going on a date?
He is so fit, Lucy, like, I'm not even joking.
He's well fit. I know.
It was a lot of waiting and it was a lot of anxiety. What's going on? Is it going to work? Is there something else?
He went absolutely crazy when he saw me, and makes you realise the bond that he has with you as well as you having with him, because it's hard not to take it personally when he chucks you off that many times, when actually horses don't think like that. They just think, it's going to hurt, get her off.
If we go to a motorcyclist who's been in a very serious accident and they're in traumatic cardiac arrest, then the odds are really against them making a recovery from that. But he rallied.
I kind of kept a bit of a diary during the time. One of the entries was about, well, I asked him whether he loved me, and he sort of said, he squeezed my hands to say yes. And that, I don't know, it's just a really important moment in the whole process, so just feeling that connection back with him. You could see his joy when the boys came up to see him, what comfort he took in terms of them being there, and that was kind of what he was, you know, fighting for.
When I wake up in the morning, I still think that this whole experience is a dream. You think you love your wife or husband or children, but until something serious happens to you, if it hadn't have been for them, I probably would have given up on life. The amount of power and strength they have to want you to come through it is quite unbelievable. I wanted to live. I've got a purpose to live, to see my children grow up and to see that Jackie's looked after as well. So that's my purpose in life. Yeah, it's, well, yes, and, you know, true love, isn't it?
How are you? Let me take a little pic of you.
Hello, St George's.
When you hear the hem's call, your pulse goes up.
I've never seen Mum that broken before.
She fell backwards into an empty swimming pool.
Approximate height?
3 metres.
3 meters she fell.
We wanted them to fix the hole in her head and send her home. It didn't quite turn out like that.
you.